Hello, Soundarya madam. I think your mic, you're muted, madam. Actually, you have to unmute yourself.
Two other options I have to do. Yeah. Is it clear now, sir?
Yeah, it's clear now. Please go ahead.
Okay. Let me quickly start from beginning. So thank you for organizing the session and giving us the opportunity to present. And today's session is going to be on efficient antenna array modeling and simulation. So just quickly going through the agenda for today. The first point is going to be on about the antenna introduction analysis of different setups, and then quickly on computational electromagnetics. These two specific topics I'm not going to be spending much time, as yesterday Dr. CJ Reddy has covered predominantly on those topics. And further down the line, we'll be talking about different solver technologies for antenna modeling and antenna array systems, and efficient antenna modeling in FICO as a simulation environment, and some real-time use cases which are on telecom industries as well as in satellite industries or space industries. So this is going to be our agenda for today. Let's go into the session. So first, antenna analysis, as yesterday Dr. CJ was talking about, the entire antenna system is being solved based on the governing equations of underlying physics. So this physics are nothing but Maxwell's equation represented in the form of differential and the integral equation systems. So overall, there are different boundary conditions that are present in terms of a simulation environment to solve these entire specification setup itself. All the analytical solutions are always possible when the problem is quite and easier to apply the boundary condition. But when you talk about array modeling systems or very complex geometries, that's where these analytical solutions are difficult to process. Hence, the simulation environment comes into account. So whatever the simulation techniques or simulation solvers we talk about are previously predominantly depending upon the Maxwell's equation, what we learned. So moving on to the computational electromagnetics, this is something what Dr. CJ was talking about yesterday. Entire CEM techniques, that is a numerical solution of different Maxwell's equation, has become a very indispensable tool in terms of industry. So whatever the techniques or whatever the problem statements that is required at your end can be modified into a computer modeling CAD systems, and it is being solved based on this CEM techniques into a numerical analysis result. It might be any kind of problem, right, from your LTE mobile antenna systems, or it might be an MRI coil system, which is also present. So any simple to complex geometries can be solved using these different CEM techniques. Just to give a quick glance about it, so you have an aircraft model and then you have a different type of antennas which are being placed on the aircraft model, including array antenna systems. All these entire aircraft, which is like predominantly somewhere around 15 to 16 meters, can be brought into a simulation environment, which is meshed depending upon the frequency of operation, depending upon your complexity of geometry and solvers that you're using. And then further, the entire solution is being solved over the frequency of operation of requirement. It can be possible for any industries, not just aircraft industries. It can be possible for automotive industries, telecom industries. Everywhere CEM techniques are much more important or predominant in terms of reducing the overall time that is spent to the production. So that is where using a simulation setup can help the user in terms of understanding the overall requirement of a particular system, as well as to understand or to mitigate different kind of solutions to get a better optimized results. So in terms of solutions, Altair offers FICO. So this is kind of like a high frequency EM solutions. So whatever the results or whatever the examples we are going to see down the line, that has been solved using FICO as a tool. But the simulation techniques or simulation solutions that are being used in FICO is kind of common to any simulation tool in the setup. Let me quickly move on to the actual setup, so which is CEM solver techniques. So the one going to talk about predominantly is the full wave solutions, which is nothing but it is purely depending upon Maxwell's equations. So your method of moments, which is MOM, which can categorically vary between different electrical sizes as well as different complexity of your materials. So when you talk about an array antenna, it usually falls under the category of medium complexity as well as medium electrical size, depending upon what is the application that you're going to use it for. especially kind of arrays which are planar arrays. So those are pretty much not highly complex in terms of number of materials that are going to use, as well as the structural complexity. But there are other kind of arrays like conformal antenna array systems, or like we are going to use a reflect array. So those kind of arrays are like much more complex, as well as they are sometimes they operate in a very high frequencies. That's where different techniques are very much helpful, so that the user can solve it in a very faster amount of time with a less amount of hardware. So using or like utilizing different solver techniques are very much important to make sure that you have a good amount of reduction and as well as better accuracy. So just to give a quick brief about the theory behind the tool itself, which is a full wave solution as well as asymptotic solution, what we talked about earlier. So full wave solutions is purely depending upon the integral and the differential equation of Maxwell's. So all your four problems or all your four full wave solutions, which is method of moments, multi-level fast multipole method, FEM, finite difference time domain method. So all these are purely depending upon your Maxwell's equation. Whereas asymptotic solutions like PO, RLGO, and solutions, these depend upon tracing techniques as well as optical techniques. So these are quite fast, but the accuracy of these solutions are very varying depending on the frequency as well as depending upon where the solutions are being applied. So that's the reason why hybrid solutions are being used. That is, your full wave solutions clubbing together along with your asymptotic solutions so that you can have a better accurate, much more faster way using less amount of computational resources. So the use of these solutions will be more like relevant once we see this, the topics regarding the antenna array modeling or different techniques that are being used in the antenna array modeling down the line. When we talk about antennas or antenna array systems, so there are certain specific techniques which are much more relevant to that particular applications. Specifically, if you talk about simple wire antennas or simple planar antennas, the most full wave solutions are much more efficient in solving them because they are not much complex. Whereas antenna arrays come into picture, there are multiple other techniques that can help in solving them. One of them being planar Green's functions and also the MLFM or FEM and FTTD solutions. Apart from that, there are certain different tools which can help in solving those finite array methods. So just to give much more on the different other type of antenna systems, once we talked about the reflect systems. So this is where the hybridization techniques as well as asymptotic techniques come into picture. So to understand what kind of technique that can be used in a particular system is very much important to utilize that particular technique for a better result as well as better analysis. So moving on to the topic of the day, which is antenna arrays, the modeling of antenna arrays and the simulation of antenna array system. Arrays are much more common applications in terms of satellite communications, radar antennas, electronic warfare, signal intelligence, and so on and so forth. So there are numerous number of array systems that you're seeing day-to-day life. For example, the current self-driving vehicles or autonomous vehicles, what we call as, which is in the automotive industry, they use ACC radars, which is nothing but automatic collision control radars. So if you go down the line and see what type of antenna that they are using in that ACC radar is basically nothing but a microstrip array. So the modeling of these arrays or the utilization of these arrays in a much more larger environment is quite increasing, so on and so forth. So the utilization of relevant and solving these arrays are much more become complex. So that's the reason simulation environment is necessary in order to solve those array systems in a much faster way. CEM techniques, what we saw earlier was just like in terms of solver techniques or solutions that can be used for solving these kind of array systems. Like MOM, FEM, and FTTD can be used to solve these antenna arrays in a much efficient manner. But apart from that, there are specialized techniques that are available that can efficiently solve these antenna systems. So most of the antenna arrays are actually fine or it's kind of like repetitive. So those conditions can be solved using PBC, which is nothing but periodic boundary conditions. And apart from that, there is another method called as domains Green function method, which is also can be solved using like finite arrays and as well as infinite array systems. So even further down the line, in order to represent your arrays much more efficiently, you can also use equivalent point sources. We'll be seeing about all these three different specialized methods in the coming slides. Just before that, on the full wave solutions, which are generally more the initial approach of solving the solutions are going to be your full wave solutions, which is nothing but your MOM, MLFMM, FEM, FTTD. So just to give a brief about that, FEM and FTTD are nothing but your differential form of Maxwell's equations, whereas MOM and MLFMM are going to be your integral form of Maxwell's equations. So whichever you feel a type of antenna array that you're going to use, depending on the type as well as depending on the complexity of that particular array, you can choose between these solvers. For example, if you have a planar array, then that particular array, if there is having a multiple number of dielectrics, or even if it's a single dielectric substrate, you can always use FEM and FTTD if faster in that particular case. Whereas if it is a simple surface or a wire antenna array systems like dipole array systems, their surface segments, or segments and triangles, are going to be much more predominant. So in those cases, MOM and MLFMM are much more faster. So based on the type of array that you're going to design and the type of array that is going to be simulated or solved, the type of equations or type of solutions also varies. So just to give an idea about how the different solutions can have an impact on how the solving of an array is being present. So MOM, as you're aware of, its method of moments, which is purely based upon the of Maxwell's equations. So the first part is going to be creating the geometry, whatever the geometry that you want to solve, and then meshing it. Meshing is again nothing but discretizing your geometry based upon the frequency of operation. So this is nothing but it solves your entire currents on each and every triangle or each and every mesh that is present, and based on the particular the current that is present on the triangle, it solves the entire equation to get your electric and your magnetic fields. So when method of moment, what it calculates, as I said earlier, like the surface currents and then your near fields and the far fields and then your radiation pattern. So all these characteristics or the different characteristics of your antenna can be found by using initial solve of your MOM. So let us take a simple example of a microstrip patch antenna systems. So it's going to be working on a frequency of 1.62 gigahertz and with 50 ohms input impedance, which is being present. It's a very simple antenna system. It's a simple planar antenna which is being designed with a ground plane, and the expected results are going to be in terms of like a omnidirectional radiation pattern, which is what we have got in this particular case. And you can also see the surface current distribution is quite different, and all these parameters are going to be staying the same, except the next step is going to be the array building. So as I talked about earlier, either you can do a finite array, which is nothing but actually physically modeling your array models, or you can do any of the arrays, specialized array techniques. So for this particular case, it's a finite array model. In this case, it is going to be 106 elements. So the same individual planar antenna model has been multiplied into 106 elements at different locations over a particular plane or over a particular substrate. So when solving this entire array model of 106 elements at the same frequency 1.62 gigahertz, it takes about 125 gigabytes of memory to solve the entire solutions. So this is done in a local machine, just a simple workstation machine which is present. And this entire process takes about 125 GBs, which is quite large because the entire array itself is over 1.8 meters in length. So this is kind of a complex structure, which is a very larger structure. So hence that's the reason why it takes about high amount of memory to solve the entire system. So moving to the next setup, so that's the main requirements of like in terms of like if you see a generic system, it is going to have only 64 gigabytes or 32 gigabytes system in normal workstation. So requirement of 125 gigabytes cannot be imposed on a normal hardware. So that's where another solution comes into account, which is our MLFMM solutions. MLFMM, which is a multi-level fast multipole method, which is useful for solving electrically larger structures. It is again a dependency, or it is similar to your earlier MOM, which is nothing but your Maxwell's equation, the method of moments. But MLFMM, it groups components into a matrix. So it essentially it is reducing the number of unknowns that is required to solve your entire process. So whenever the hardware requirement or a computational requirement of a particular problem is always depending upon your number of unknowns. So when you're reducing the number of unknowns, automatically your number of requirements or the time as well as the hardware resource in terms of computational resources also reduces. So this decomposition matrix actually helps in overall reducing the complexity of your MOM as well as the requirement of an MOM in terms of computational hardware. So process, which is 106 elements of your microstrip antenna array, is being solved with MLFMM, where it reduces from 125 gigabytes of memory to 11 gigabytes of memory, and it solves within 10 minutes. So this is how the different solution techniques can help the user in terms of understanding and simulating a particular antenna array systems on a larger scale. So as we are aware of, like, initially the microstrip patch antenna is a single antenna is nothing but a omnidirectional radiation pattern, whereas when you're grouping multiple number of antenna elements, it is going to have a much more narrow beam pattern. That's what we are seeing in this particular case at both the different 5 degrees, 0 and 90 degrees. And overall, the surface current as well as the radiation pattern is also visualized. So reduction in overall memory requirement as well as the time requirement is a huge factor in terms of the user solving a particular systems. Next comes the MLFMM that is going to be, the antenna which is going to be placed on a platform. So whenever you're designing an antenna systems or antenna array systems, it is not just going to be an individual system. It is actually going to be placed on a particular object. So placement into an object is actually more amount of memory as well as that is like is nothing but you're including more number of unknowns. So in this case, it's going to be on a satellite. This patch antenna array is nothing but a part of a satellite array systems. And when it is being placed on this satellite, the number of unknowns again increases in more than twice. So the earlier case, it was about 131,000. And now the amount of memory to be required. When solving this in MOM, earlier it was 125 GB, now including the external component, which is nothing but be placed in a real-time case scenario, it is going to be more than 1 terabytes, which is very huge amount of memory for a local machine. But the same process can be solved with MLFMM with a similar memory in a much little bit higher amount of time. So it is going to be 11 gigabytes again, but it is going to take 47 minutes instead of 10 minutes when compared to the array model which we saw earlier. So that's the reason MLFMM is preferred to structures. So any kind of complex systems or any kind of complex antenna models can be solved using MLFMM in a much more reduced amount of memory. So again, this is just a quick example of how memory reduction is going to be happening, or how memory distribution is going to be happening on varying aperture size or varying number of unknowns for different frequencies that is going to be used. So when it comes to the techniques that is being used for antenna array modelings, so there are different types of modeling techniques that is present within FICO. So some of them are going to be in terms of array elements using equivalent fields. So equivalent fields are nothing but your near fields that are sampled at the aperture or at the location where your antenna element is going to be present. So for example, this particular model is nothing but it can be either a dipole antenna array system or a patch antenna array system. Instead of having an individual element, we are just representing the individual element with their equivalent model. So this is why this is being used, in the sense it can solve it much more faster than having the physical entity itself. So what we saw earlier was basically like meshed into a certain number of unknowns. So when you're representing the same, reducing it solves much more advantages. Again, it is again element pattern by the array family. Advantage is going to be that it does not consider the entire array environment. The other disadvantage is that the element radiation, again, it's not affected by the environment. They have a huge impact on it. But this can be solved again by simply representing an outer element of your array base or like array ground in the particular case. So this is a different radiation pattern that you can represent your antenna element from. Either you can represent your antenna element as a near field that has been radiated 3D that has been acquired by initially running the individual element, represented using a spherical mode. Modes are again nothing but it is extracted from your far field data. So any individual element can be solved, and any of these three data can be extracted and can be used further in representing those as a equivalent point sources. And the second method is going to be your PBC, which is nothing but periodic boundary conditions. Periodic boundary conditions are very much. So specifically for supports MOM periodic boundary conditions. Again, this is space version of a Green's function. And both 1D initial element, for example, initial element can be taken into account, and then this particular element is accelerated throughout a particular length or throughout a particular number of elements at both. Something very helpful, and since it was very much compared modeling. Just to give a quick example, before that, just to give a quick verification. So this is just a simple with the condition which we are boundary condition along with the actual element of LFM. So the difference between them is in PBC you're just having one single element, and from 51. So you can are same, and also down the line below you can actually see the magnitude and the phase for both the PBC plus the MLFM analysis. It's pretty much close. So hence this representation of individual element in a PBC environment can help in understanding how So one quick example in terms of helix antenna array. So in this particular system, usually the first element is solved, one single element is solved, and then the same element is being present in terms of like a third actual elements and also a PBC model. So this overall the entire requirement that is taken for the all three different methods is that this is 5 megabytes of RAM. So it is like much more point sources. Point source is the one which we saw earlier, which is representing your antenna radiation pattern as a direct element instead of your physical element systems. So when using array of point sources, it requires only 46 megabytes of memory, and of your helix antenna, all 21 cross 21 elements physically, then it is going to be 4 gigabytes memory. So which is quite high. I mean, again, the configuration pattern of all the three different specifications, it pretty much goes your initial be reduce the overall to solve your entire array model itself. So advantage BC conditions and infinite repetitive structures. So it has to be repetitive BC condition. Periodic antenna array systems. And the disadvantage in terms of using a PBC model is that the edge effects all the antennas, antenna elements considered for the radiations. So there might be certain of these edge effects. And the second is the entire matrix can consume depending on how many number of you're going to analyze. And then its unit cell is larger than the actual or the frequency of operation, then some of the like remarks in terms of like boundary conditions, but definitely if you're going to have a simple planar antenna array which is going to be repetitive, then PBC is a analysis that is to the same technique which we talked about earlier is going to be domains green function. So domains green function is again, it's a type of fast array solver and entirely based upon solving an element at a time. So this is nothing but your building. So basically what it does in the sense, it takes MOM and MOM is going to be again the solver that is DGFM technique is along with MOM. So when you're applying this DGFM, the matrices will take consideration of the other coupling locations which are the computational complexities, therefore scale of unknowns that is present for an individual antenna array element, but not entire antenna array model. So this is the amount of hardware or amount of dependent on in terms of unknowns that is being present. So this is just a quick definition of the matrix that is being calculated in this particular. Let's give a one of the major advantages of using a DGFM technique is that it takes into account of all effects, unlike your PBC function. So which means you're much more accurate in terms of like certain cases or certain type of elements. And then the mutual coupling is also accounted. And this is like overall as much more is going to be, the complexity is also going to be much more better for the DGFM technique. So just to give a representation of how MOM is in terms of runtime as well as memory usage. This is the answer 2005 planar strip dipole antenna array. The pretty much MOM as well as DGFM technique have the same type of representation, which MOM is actually the most accurate solution in terms of solving any problems. So in the DGFM is very much actually equivalent to MOM solution in this particular case. And this frequency of operation for this particular case is at 2 gigahertz. So down the line, you can also see the comparison in terms of time and the memory usage. So this time that is taken for to solve this entire 2,500 elements is going to be 5.6 hours. Your traditional or conventional MOM, whereas the DGFM technique, which is near to solve your entire antenna array model. And the second is the amount of memory received by MOM versus DGFM. So MOM takes about 21 gigabytes of memory, whereas 8.8 decrease memory requirement for solving your element of height. So by this reduction, lessons as we saw earlier, so DGFM accounts for only one antenna element at a time. So that's the reason the unknowns depending on that particular number of. That's the main reason why we're seeing this entire reduction in terms of memory. This representation for DGFM, one other point is that it takes scattering into account. method that is present. This is a simple example again for FSS array systems. So it can be used. FSS models are pretty much common in terms of it. So this particular model is Jerusalem cross method, Jerusalem cross element, and entire array is being correction options within GFM to make sure that certain factors are getting accounted for. So when accounting for all the phase differences, there is a slight dip in 15-degree angles. This is mainly due to the phase difference that has been happening. So, but if you're able to tune the weighting factors within the DGFM, then definitely your DGFM analysis is going to be very close to the analysis that is being present. Earlier, which is mainly part is coupling. So the earlier, like mutual coupling between bands is supported with DGFM. When including coupling as a factor, there is a quite when solving it, but not to help the user to choose from different options. The mutual coupling actually can be switched on and off when there is DGFM techniques. So it, I mean, whether they want to activate the requirement of coupling or mainly because depending on that. Overall, the total current distribution actually is a summation of all the current distributions of individual elements in isolation. So you can actually work out fine how does coupling is happening with the elements at various quantities in phase 5, phase so on and so forth. So this example on the bottom below is nothing but depending on the inter-element distances and especially on the x-axis, how does it factor to coupling or the field distributions in terms of like when taking coupling with and not taking coupling with MOM solution. So at certain locations or certain positions of x-axis, quite a little there is an influence of the coupling factor that is taken into account. So something really help the user of understanding the parameters and effects of the parameters over the environment. And the second example just a better idea of about the technique is this is nothing but a simple system 11 cross 11 array and following all three techniques, which is MOM, DGFM, and the one which we saw earlier, which is PBC, periodic boundary conditions. So, see, periodic boundary condition, it does not also does not take the array. That's the main reason why you can see there is a difference when compared to MOM and DGFM analysis versus BC analysis. But the time is taken all three factors. MOM takes about 3.5 minutes because it does not have a substrate and a ground plane into account. So it is basically reducing the number of unknowns. You're just having a simple, like a simple radiating. In 3.35 since it's not more complex, it takes, there's a good amount of time, but not huge, which is 5 minutes. But PVC condition just takes only 7 seconds because it will solve only one element of your entire system. From 219 megabytes reduces up to 3.34 megabytes for DGFM, and further down the line, PBC technique is going. So this improvement in the results by using the edge effects, so including your edge effects, including your mutual couplings, including your scattering data, can increase the accuracy of your solve of these kind of systems when compared to your PBC. So essentially from this, you can understand that PBC or periodic boundary condition, which is a specialized array technique, can be used not to get a first cut results, but when you're going to depend or when you're going to solve it much more efficiently, you have to go with different array techniques like DGFM, or you can also use finite array techniques at the extreme end of your solutions so that you do not spend more time in Another example is a simple, like a group of horn antenna which is being present. And this again works on MOM and CPU. So overall CPU time reductions as well as the memory reduction from 1.4 gigabytes to 390 megabytes. So this is a large amount of runtime and memory saving, mainly because again, it depends upon only one domain, but not the entire horn. And this is something which is very much irregular antennas. So earlier, other like expectations all your antennas needs to be periodically that is, they have to be repeating in a certain distance, or they have to be repeating in a certain fashion of manner. If it is not repeating, should same, digital techniques can solve it efficiently. The dipole, and this is again a planar dipole, 25 cross 25 for 300 megahertz. The dipoles again are separated 0.5 wavelengths and so just a comparison between all the other different techniques. So you see all the different techniques within FICO as a tool. With others, so the underlying physics is going to be the same. PBC condition, which again you can see there's a good drop when using PBC, mainly because again you're not taking much of the edge effects into account. At certain angles, but the other overall the pattern representation, there is not a huge difference between all the methods that's being used. But overall, when you compare memory as well as runtime for each and every different method, you can actually see there's a huge difference in terms of the runtime as well as in terms of the memory that is being consumed. Again, MLFMM is actually much more better than all the full wave solvers. And special methods like PBC and MOM actually consumes the runtime when compared to all the full wave solvers. So another important feature to notice is that your FEM, which is present, which actually consumes more amount of memory, mainly because a problem FEM is much more accurate, or FEM is much more representative in terms of solving your solutions for your complex dilated setups. So that's where like FEM memory reduction comes into account. Since it's a simple strip line antenna systems, it's not their FEM techniques are not going to be that much effective in reducing memory. But runtime, you can see actually just comparatively it is higher. Again, FEM is going to be quite higher. Again, FTTD, which is second method in terms of runtime, and then MLFM quite a few slides back, we were seeing they use different equations, integral versus differential equation in terms of that is going to be used. Both FEM and FTTD techniques are volumetric equations. Hence, you can see there's the memory requirement as well as the runtime requirement as quite equation. But your MOM and full wave techniques are actually surface methods or surface characterization methods, which actually has less amount of memory requirement as well as less amount of runtime required. So that's why choosing the type of solver in a simulation environment is very much important. So, and the specialized techniques which we saw, PBC as well as DGFM technique, comparatively is very much less for all the reasons which we environment. Choose a type of choosing a type of solver as well as choosing a type of array technique that you're going to use is going to have a huge impact on how much amount of resources are going to get consumed. So another quick example is a patch. So earlier we saw 21 cross 21 patch antenna element system. So now it is going to be 10 cross 10 element array. But the difference is here you are going to have a finite substrate is also being done. And this particular setup is 3 in the overall setup. And is also specified in this particular case. Different techniques. One quick notice again you can see is that PBC condition have a drop, and the DGFM conditions is also having another compared to fluid techniques. The DGFM has a different options in terms of different services over the angles, which is 90 degrees. So again, this is due to the approximations that these specialized techniques take into all the pattern or the representation of very much closer. Again, this is just a quick representation of your same antenna radiation pattern in terms of your polar plot compared to all your full wave methods. Just quick representation again for your versus the runtime. So this particular is having a dielectric layer. That's the main reason. Now you can see there's a good amount of reduction in terms of using FTTD. It takes only 243 megabytes and it solves within 0.3 hours. So you can actually see the difference that is happening in terms of requires the most amount of resources, and this dielectric layer is actually modeled using planar Green's function DGFM technique, which makes it much more efficient in terms of solving it. But it requires more memory than DGFM, mainly because the number of dielectric angles that are being present, number of unknowns that are present are much higher in the unit cell. So this is kind of the differences in terms of using the solver. One other thing which you can notice is that the MOM and the MLFM memory requirements are quite high. FEM is also high, but FEM, the time taken for solving the FEM is quite low. So depending upon the solvers, depending upon the requirements, you can actually choose. So FEM, again, you can choose for inhomogeneous layers. There's nothing, you have multiple layers of different dielectrics. So that's where FEM outshines. But in this particular case, FTD is much more, in terms of full wave solution, FTD is much more representative in terms of solving it volumetrically. The other example is going to be element. So earlier we have just solved until 3 gigahertz. Now we're moving on to 9.4 gigahertz, which is going to be on the X-band application. So this is again different methods are being solved in full wave solutions, which is MOM, FEM, and FTTD solutions. So it takes about 18 GB, 10, and 1. But in runtime, so there are different configurations or there are different requirements in solving these setups. So you can see FEM is much more like efficient in solving these cases. So the depending upon the requirement, or depending upon the application, the user can actually choose the different solvers. So we are just going to increase number of sizes we solve. So instead of 5 element antenna, we are just going to solve it with 5 cross 3 the same 4 full wave solvers. So one like quick representation what I can. So initially your FTT took about 12.2 hours. Now it's taking quite a bit of high amount of time, but again the level is 2.7 gigabyte. Huge amount of memory, but it's much more faster. Because that has to choose whether they have to go with the memory or they have to go with the runtime. So these kind of different concepts has very much important in terms of choosing it. I mean, I'm going for a larger, much more numerous number of files. In this particular case, it is going to be a 10 cross 8 systems. So this particular case, it's going to be using FEM is going to be much more better, mainly because their complexity is much more higher. The same is taking about hours of runtime with of RAM. RAM is nothing but your memory solutions. So mainly the conclusions from these different array methods or specialized techniques or all the examples here is that there are different numerical techniques are very much present in terms of these of the method pure as well as electrical size of your systems. A simple MOM and MLFM and FEM. Sorry, 80 is the amount of memory complex, 80% combination of analysis will be complexity. Definitely, appreciate all these models. So we are going into use cases. So these are like actual regular use cases or like actual phenomena that can be used for these particular. The ACC radar, which I talked about earlier, which is
Hello.
nothing but your automatic collision
Madam,
control
sorry
systems.
to interrupt
So
you.
this is
Hello.
example.
Hello, Soundarya madam.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt you. I think slides are not moving, madam.
Hello, sir. Yeah.
And your voice is also breaking sometime. Slides are not moving, and your voice is also breaking sometime. It is now large Vivaldi antenna array pattern it is showing right now.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I think it might be a network issue. Which slide? Which slide is getting started?
Large Vivaldi array pattern.
Slide.
Yeah.
I'm resharing my screen, sir. 1 minute.
Yeah, no problem.
Is it?
No, madam, it is getting, it is,
issue?
yeah, same issue is there actually.
Okay, I'm so sorry for the inconvenience. Let me.
Now it is coming up. Slide is coming up.
You should be able to see the slide
Yeah, correct. It's visible. Yes.
I think there is some network issue from my end. I'm really sorry for that.
No problem. Continue, madam.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. So as I was saying, like the choice of different methods actually purely depends upon the complexity of the antenna systems. So this was a slide which I was talking about earlier, like how different solvers are mainly important for different types of antenna arrays that needs to be modeled. And going to be automatic collision, which comes under the advanced driver assistance systems. So ACC radars are pretty much used to understand what are the obstacles or what are the objects that are present in front of a vehicle or any direction of a vehicle, so that it can help the user in terms of understanding the different obstacles that are present surrounding them. So ACC radar, again, it's a quite high frequency of operation. It is usually operates under 70 GHz. This is going very much in terms of like much more complex and so compared to other mechanisms. One other important factor of ACC radar is that they are going to be present. There are specific restrictions that actually are displayed in the column. I hope you can see that. So this is nothing but there are specific requirements in terms of side lobe levels. The side lobe level needs to be certain like limitations in terms of like 20 dB or 30 dB, depending upon the type of radar that is going to be used. And the reduction of objects also has to be at certain ranges. So these radars are very much complexly designed or complexly in this particular case. And solving these radars using full wave techniques is the only way to go, mainly because these radars compact in terms of design as well as much higher frequencies. So in terms of using the different methods, there are different advantages as well as the limitations. Mainly the limitations considered in terms of like using amount of memory as well as time. Here, in this particular case, the specialized techniques, especially PBC condition and DGFM condition, cannot be applied. This mainly because this you have to take the array in if you're not depending upon the other specialized techniques from techniques. So initially it is going to be solved using MOM, FEM or FTTT and MLM. So as the picture is shown, it consists of both the transmitter antenna as well as the receiver antenna, which is of 4 channels and 6 channels. So each channel is made up of 2 patch columns. So this reduction in size of the patch column is again determined depending upon the series patch theory. The construction of patch element using MOM antenna, which is MOM antenna analysis. So this is just basically our entire antenna model pattern. It's requirement for kind of nodes. Not to get better side lobes as well as in order to get a better radiation pattern. The arrays, the antenna size as well as the individual element size and as well as the distance between the individual elements, strip and size, everything is being modified or everything is optimized using optimization techniques for the two. So just to give a representation of how the pattern looks in terms of an array model. So field of view, which is much more important in terms of these kind of arrays, and then your transmitter plus receiver channels. Our requirement is that the field of view needs to be 20 dB, which is present, so which is much more important in this. Earlier, using this antenna, solving this individual antenna array is going to be easier because it is just a very less number of antenna array elements, but the same antenna array cannot be placed on a vehicle, solved along with the vehicle using amount of time. That's why representing the antenna by a near field source, which is nothing but your equivalent point source, the method which we saw earlier, comes into picture. So equivalent point source used in solving those array antennas in terms of particles or objects that are going to be placed. So this particular step that is being considered into account is that your physical antenna array model, the near field pattern is getting calculated at a particular distance or a particular height. And this near field pattern is going without having the solution. This radomes, depending upon they are going to be engaged in the radome. So we are seeing the reduction, seeing the losses in terms of radiation when the radomes are getting calculated. We are making sure the field of view is maintained as the side levels are getting maintained. So I'm just skipping this. Yeah. The second part is that integrating your antenna array into your vehicle model. So as you can see, like this is a process that we usually follow. Initially, the antenna array is getting designed, and then it is placed into a radome. The radome integration is done. So again, adding complex systems, object which is going to be placed upon. So there are two different case. It's a bumper of a vehicle. So we have to take into account different coming to this particular case. So this is one set.
Madam, sorry to disturb you again. Hello? Madam, sorry to interrupt you again.
Let's take a
Hello?
array systems. So 5G is more.
Soundara, madam, sorry to interrupt you.
Yes,
The
sir.
slides are not moving, madam. Slides are not moving.
Slides are not getting updated, sir. Again, is it an issue?
Yeah, radar antenna integration. That is the slide where we are.
And quickly see if anything else.
Your voice is also breaking, madam.
Okay, sir. Just a minute, sir. I'm so sorry for this issue. Just a minute. Is it better? Same. Are you able to see switching between slides?
Yeah, now it is. I think it's going on.
How about the audio, sir?
The audio is clear now, but sometimes it will break. So
Okay, so I'm really sorry for that. I think it's like a network issue in from my end. So participants, I'm really sorry for that. So I'm just going back to the radar integration where the slide got stuck. So this is what I was talking about, like in terms of representing your antenna using a near field setup. So further down, the receiver as well as the transmitter patterns at both azimuth and elevation plane. Make sure that we are not deviating when you are using your near field representation instead of using the physical antenna systems. So the integration process, that is nothing but your antenna design, your antenna array model which is present, your ACC antennas, and then integrating that with your radome that is present, which is adding to the complexity, and further integrating your radome into a much more larger environment, which is your bumper of the vehicle. So this entire process is much more time consuming, mainly because you're adding more and more complexities to it. Individual antenna array can be solved using your MOM and MLFMM techniques, mainly because it does not have multiple amount of substrates or multiple number of complexities for it. But when you're going to use radome, the radome can have to be solved using FTTD or FEM solutions, or you can also use MLFMM to a certain extent. And then integrating with the bumper, it has to be solved with a combination of different techniques that is being present. So mainly because the complexity of the bumper is much more higher, mainly because we are applying multiple materials like painting, coating, etc. Second, so this is on the automotive industry. In terms of telecom industry, 5G is something up and running. We're going to see an example of antenna array, which is much more common in 5G antenna base station systems. So again, this is a very high frequency antenna array. It is either going to be in the sub 6 gigahertz or it's going to be in millimeter, depending upon which you are going to use. These are the allocated frequencies for 5G. And the dedicated solvers that can be antenna array systems are, as I said earlier, the full wave mechanisms, the full wave methods that are available, or any of the DGFM technique or the PBC technique, which are specialized array solvers. The tool which is also present in pop quicker, so directly available. I'm not going to antenna array for a 5G communication. So the first point is you're going to optimize the antenna array for your requirement because it needs certain bandwidth, it needs certain gain, so on and so forth. The part that 2x2 plane using GSM global response search method, which is a type of optimization solution that is available. So bandwidth is not considered in this particular case. We are just going to optimize it at frequency, which is going to be solved in this particular case. The entire setup is solved using MOM technique because it's just a 2x2 element. But when moving to a full array, it is going to be solved either with FTTD or MLFMM to capture it overall the entire bandwidth. The advantage of this approach is that optimizing initially the individual array is much more faster when compared to optimizing the larger array. So that's the main. One is MOM. Extreme efficient in terms of coding setup. Basically, solving different coupling matrices for all the different codes or different generating keys. So we are just like depending upon a certain like require this particular basis, which is for 26 gigahertz for example. So it's just including a slot to increase efficiency, and it's going to be a printed system. It's basically a antenna system. So it's printed with a FR4 substrate. So FR4 is much more common, hence it is low cost. That's the main reason using for the FR4 solutions. And initial element is a simple base element, and then some technique which we saw earlier. So same 2x2 method is going to be used 16x mechanisms, and this is also compared with 4x4 and 8x8 array systems to make sure that we are not putting high number of elements, mainly because there are certain amount of gain requirement. Present. Just a quick representation in terms of S parameters or the operational parameters of this particular antenna array system is that we have to maintain the resonant frequency at 26 gigahertz, which is very much important. And the bandwidth requirement is also needs to be maintained to increase in size systems. So overall, the required bandwidth is going to be around 2 gigahertz. So all the required bandwidth be this particular case. So this is just an example to represent how array methods can be easily solved in this particular case. As you can see below, the tableau, the graph actually represents the different parameters or the S11, S12 setups for the entire different array configurations. 4x4 models and as well as 8x8 and 16x16. Part is going to be your beam steering. Array configuration. As you increase it, the will get increased. Yes, as we mentioned earlier, there is a slight loss of bandwidth that can happen when you're going for increase in the number of antenna arrays. And is going to be a major factor in terms of using station setup. So from 16 dB gain for 4x4, we are going to increase it up to 28 dB gain for 16x16 configuration. So there's just a quick representation of it. And other important factor for, especially for a 5G antenna array system or base station systems, is going to be steering concept. So right hand side, the graph actually represents cheering for different the 8x8 and different angles or different faces that are being present. Solving this entire 16 cross 16 array elements or 2 cross 2 array element in this particular case is going to be around it's taking about 81 minutes in total. So the 4 cross 4 element model simulation time is about 24 minutes. The iterations, the number of iterations are going to get varied. The 2 cross 2 is about 94 iterations you're solving for the entire band. And this particular case, we are comparing with FTTD solutions and MLFM solutions. FTTD, it can use GPU, so that is one of the advantage of using FTTD solution. And MLFM is actually parallelized, so you can use multiple number of CPUs to solve them, which can be comparable to your GPU solutions. So overall, if you see FTTD is it's going to be only for it's going to be for full frequency band, but only one port, that is a single port, is getting activated. Whereas in MLFMM, all the ports are activated, but only for single frequency it is getting solved. So that's the difference in terms of your FTTD solutions and your MLFMM solutions. But overall, you can see even for 16 cross 16 arrays, the MLFMM takes only about 8 hours to solve the entire process and only 11 gigabytes of memory. And FTTD takes only about 1.5 hours to solve for the entire frequency band and takes about 4.9 gigabytes of memory. Why the simulation time is less in FTTD? Because FTTD is a time domain solver. So even though it is going to solve it for the entire frequency band, since it's a time domain solver, it solves it much more faster. So another real-time case is going to be on a satellite, an antenna array on a satellite system. So this is kind of similar to the one which we saw. I mean, it's the same, similar to the one which we saw earlier. Antennas are commonly mounted on, antenna arrays actually mounted on different satellites for different communication purposes. So one of this particular setup is actually Iridium satellite, which is useful for global communications, mobile communications especially. And they're actually covering the entire surface of the Earth. There are different satellites being deployed. One of the main cases for this particular satellite is that this is the frame GCA panels which are being designed for the satellite, and each 3 GCA panels consist of and runs its element microstrip patch antenna array systems. So it's a similar one what we saw in the first talking about MOM solutions being designed in this particular case, individual antenna, and then further down the line and the array model is being consumed. So the first part, again, analysis of it, making sure your individual antenna is working required frequencies, required, and then moving down the line for a larger array element setup. So 106 elements working at 1.62 gigahertz and solved efficiently. As I said earlier, placement of this antenna onto the model is going to be much more higher consumption of memory requirements. So MOM probably would take about 896 gigabytes of memory, which is close to 1 terabyte of memory, which is quite high. Whereas MLFMM is very much comparatively very much less, which is 9.8 gigabytes of memory. Again, MLFMM is a quite accurate solver, so it will give you very close results to your actual measurement results. Another type of arrays which we FICO as a tool or any kind of simulation environment tool can solve are like GNSS transmit antenna array systems. So these are actually helical antennas which are being present. Nearly 12 helical antennas are present. So these also can be solved using a simulation techniques in a much more faster method, faster solutions. So this is just a quick representation of the radiation pattern that can be up to 1.575 gigahertz. And this is again a simple antenna array that is being fixed on a satellite systems. So it actually has different types of patch can be used. So one is a truncated patch, another is a dual pin circularly polarized patch. So the placement of these patches at locations is something like we can compare between two different concepts of patch antenna systems. So one other technique to be noticed in the sense this particular setup is running using DGFM technique. So only one antenna element model is getting solved. So it is much more faster than the of unitary model. types of patch for this particular application, and you can also use just another type of method which is used, another type of patch, and which you can also use is that sequentially rotated patch antenna array, which is again kind of like a kind of like a replacement for the other rectangular patches which we saw earlier. So whichever type of antenna arrays that you feel that is necessary for the kind of application that you're working on, each of them can be solved in a pretty quick manner using a simulation technique. So coming to the conclusion, so antenna modeling is something which is very much important in terms of realizing how does it being used in the simulation environment as well as in the physical environment. So most of the experiments can be correlated with your simulation results along with your as well as your measurement simulation setup. So I'm not going to go much into the talk about this. Measurements as well as simulation go hand in hand. Simulation measurement rather than to get to the measurement as soon as possible. And for the in terms of the users, there are different editions that is available for FICO as well as the tools that is present with Altair, where they can faculty as well as students can actually download the student version and then they can work on this their models. There are certain specific limitations of using how many number of elements in certain cases, but yeah, the initial case it is very much useful in terms of it. And we also do have different concepts that are getting analyzed using the simulation tool that is present within the Altair University DOM, where you can actually refer different concepts that is being solved using different simulation techniques that are being. So that's all for today. I hope we have talked about different. Thank you for the opportunity. Thanks for the organizers for organizing this. So that's it from my end.
Yeah, thank you, Sandhara madam. Thank you very much for covering mostly all the applications of antennas. Thank you very much. And now we have some queries from the participants. I think you have answered
Yes,
most
sir.
of them. So let me check whether this was answered or not. Do these methods like PBC take into account the mutual coupling? I think you have answered this question while covering.
So DGFM takes mutual coupling into account. PBC does not take mutual coupling into account.
Okay. And also beam steering capability, possibility of beam steering. I think you have covered that in the last application.
Yes.
Yeah. And yeah, so some compliments, like a very good comparison among various techniques. That is nice. Thank you. And also one question is, why MOL is not used in common CEM techniques?
So predominantly there are different names for different solutions that are being present. So we usually generally categorize as is shown, all of them are actually depending upon the names that are being used by solvers. They might be different techniques, but I'm not sure exactly about the. I can definitely answer on that particular setup.
Okay, maybe I request Professor Raghavan to expand what is MOL, then we can get an answer. Okay. And yeah, next one is FR4 is too lossy at 22 gigahertz. So what is your comment on that?
Yes. Exactly, FR4 is quite a lossy structure, especially at the higher. In terms of like cost, on the user itself, how do they want lossy dielectrics? I mean, you can use Uroid with but again, it depends upon the cost requirements. So FR4 was just a requirement at that particular point to analyze particular structure. But yes, material analysis using the tool to make sure that you are using up a kind of material or the thickness of the material.
Okay, thank you. This MOL is basically method of lines. That's what one of the participant has told. Method of lines.
To be honest, I do not have much I can find more details in terms of it, I can share it across to you, sir. At this point
Yeah,
point
yeah,
of time,
yeah.
I'm able to
Thank you.
answer that, but definitely if I get some details, I'll
Yeah.
share it across.
Yeah. Thank you, madam. Thank you very much. And yeah, so from APMTT chapter side, Bangalore section side, we'd like to thank you for the very nice presentation. Even you can see in the chat box, participants have told that for the very nice comparison you have provided, and also applications, wide variety of applications you have covered. So thank you very much. And
Thank you.
I think we'll be meeting day after tomorrow also, right? We'll be meeting for one more session.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you all the participants for participating. So we'll be closing the session today. We'll be joining the. Please join for tomorrow for 6:30 by another engineer from FICO. Okay. Thank you very much. We'll close the session now. Thank you very much.
Thank you all.